Some breaking news. Now, the centre has told the Supreme Court that it needs more time to frame national drug policy to check drug abuse. Now, the Supreme Court has directed the centre to submit an affidavit by the 20th of August on what steps have been taken so far to frame the drug policy and conduct a survey of drug use and sale across the country. Well, in fact, that is what the centre has told the Supreme Court, saying they need some more time to frame the national drug policy. The Supreme Court, in turn, has asked the centre to file an affidavit before it by the 20th of August. In fact, the centre has also been asked to list steps that it has taken already to try and frame the drug policy, including conducting a survey of drug use across the country. Well, this is an important move that is now being reported from the Supreme Court. Crucially important, of course, at a time when we're seeing cases of drug-related deaths, overdoses, etc. in Punjab in particular, but across the country, across the length and breadth. So the Supreme Court wanting to know what steps the government has taken to try and tackle this problem. Let's go across to my colleague Anisha Mathur joining us on the phone line. Anisha, this is a very important case that came before the Supreme Court, and now the government being given until the 20th of August to figure out what that scheme would look like.
Well, the government had been directed back in December 2016 to come up with the national drug policy, come up with a scheme to ensure that the spread of narcotics that is happening in the country is stopped. And in 2017, the government had asked for 6 months' time to formulate this policy. The court has today made it clear that it does not want to give further extension of time to the government, and they have asked for an affidavit on exactly what the government has done so far to ensure that this policy is done. What we also need to remember is that the government is also conducting the government has told the court that they are conducting through AIIMS a survey of drug addiction to find out exactly how many drug addicted persons are there in the country, how many children are involved in drug abuse, and also the sale of drugs. Taking note of all of these, the government has to tell the Supreme Court exactly what steps they have taken so far. However, AIIMS the Bachpan Bachao Andolan had also submitted a study done by AIIMS last year, in which they had indicated that while drug abuse among children was mostly in street children, in children who do not live with their families earlier, in the last few years, in the last 3 or 4 years, drug use among school children from middle-class families is also increasing. So it is obvious that drug use among children is on the rise. The NCRB data also shows that there were at least 196 children arrested in 2016 for selling of drugs, for being involved in drug sales. So worrying data has been shown to the Supreme Court by the Bachpan Bachao Andolan, and the court has now asked the government to ensure that it at least gives them some information about some status on what exactly the government is doing about this spreading problem of drug use in the country.
Absolutely, Anisha. It's a real problem that needs to be tackled in an effective manner. Thanks for joining us for that information. We'll be tracking that case as it develops in the Supreme Court.